you're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. That's the signpost up ahead. Your next stop.
The Arsenal January transfer window news show. The big story of the day emanating from Team Talk, who have written that Team Talk can exclusively reveal that Arsenal have made an approach to sign Everton midfielder Amadou Onana in the current transfer window. And this one seems a little bit confused to me. Part of the reason it's thought it might be possible is because the Premier League teams find out, according to the Times, who are writing, according to the Times, who have written that the Premier League clubs will find out in the next 2 weeks how they've done with profit and sustainability regulations. And we know that Everton were already docked 10 points for just one charge. And it is felt that they are also going to be charged again along with Nottingham Forest, which of course creates a pressing need to sell some players. They do go on to say that no one is quite sure how much Everton are going to want for Amadou Onana, and that previously they'd attached the value of 70 and 90 million to him. Perhaps if there is a pressing need to sell, we could reduce that, but it seems hard to imagine that we're going to shell out even 50 million for the 22-year-old, however well he's playing at the moment. They do talk about the fact that we had initially wanted Douglas Luiz. I think it's really clear that Douglas Luiz was the top of our list. Is this going to be like last January where we couldn't get Moses Caicedo, so we ended up with Jorginho? If that's the case, then you certainly don't want to spend 50 plus million pounds on the player unless you're sure. But they do say that Mikel Arteta is a huge fan of Amadou Onana. Personally, I think the sticking point here is the valuation. And it feels to me again like people just throwing mud at a wall. When you actually break it down, Team Talk has said they can exclusively reveal that Arsenal have made an approach to sign Everton midfield, but there's no sources here. And it'd be difficult to disprove that one. We'll have to wait and see. But Amadou Onana is a big talking point. The Mirror also covering that story, but mostly leading with the idea that Arsenal have to turn away from signing Ivan Toney, who Thomas Frank recently in an interview said he thinks will stay at Brentford this January. Given that there doesn't seem to be any movement towards this at all, and Brentford's £100 million valuation of Toney, most news agencies are now turning away from the Toney story completely. And instead, yesterday, thanks to the Telegraph interviewing Jorel Hato, the Ajax wonder kid, who I did a video about yesterday, there is much more reporting on that story, that there is an interest, but again, unlikely to be until summer. And Sky Sports also with the same angle, that Toney is too expensive and not going anywhere, and that there is a significant Hato interest. So overall, a seeming acceptance that Ivan Toney is not coming to Arsenal, at least not in this January transfer window. Another striker who will not, it seems, be coming to Arsenal this January, who has been linked with us for 2 years now, is Dusan Vlahovic. Juventus director Cristiano Gentili has discussed the potential of Dusan Vlahovic leaving the club for Arsenal in the January transfer window, shutting down rumours over a bid, he said, via Fabrizio Romano. Bid from Arsenal for Dusan Vlahovic? We don't know anything about that story. There's nothing. Vlahovic is not for sale. Which I'm surprised about, actually, because Vlahovic isn't doing that well at Juventus at the moment. But that seems a pretty conclusive slamming of that window. I'm actually quite pleased about that. I didn't want us to sign Ivan Toney or Vlahovic. So the fact that we're definitely not, or it looks like we're definitely not, I think is good news. In his press conference before the Liverpool FA Cup game on Sunday, Arteta was asked directly whether he could foresee any transfer business this January. And, well, here's what he had to say.
So a left-back coming in January, even on loan, is something that you're considering or not?
We are open for the transfer market, but again, the emphasis is on making the most out of the players that we have, and we will work together with the club to understand whether there is any possibilities and we have any good options, and first of all, focus on the players that we have.
But it's equally as likely that you'll do no business at all.
That's a possibility.
So I think that's a pretty open response from him. It does suggest very strongly that there isn't a big deal underway at the moment. Unlikely, I think, that we're going to see the kind of big transfers everybody's really wanting from this transfer window. But there was a lot of positivity from Arteta in that press conference, and I'm doing a video about it, just going through it. Some really positive moments for me. Hopefully you will think so too. So Make sure you've clicked subscribe so you're alerted the moment that video is available for you to watch. So overall, today has been just another one of those days in the transfer window where no one's really got anything to talk about, but they have to talk anyway. And on that note, I'm going to keep it short and just want to finish by saying thank you for watching to this point. Thank you, all of you who've subscribed. Don't forget to leave a comment on who you think we should be signing or how you feel about Amadou Onana joining Arsenal for £90 million, whether you think that's likely or not. And until I see you tomorrow, be lucky and lots of love.